Hey, welcome. When we think about communication, our minds usually jump straight to the words we say. But what if there are these powerful, hidden forces shaping every single conversation we have? Today, we're diving into some amazing source material to uncover these invisible rules and learn how to connect on a way deeper level. So, let's start with this big question. What if the most important parts of how we talk to each other aren't really the words at all? What if it's the unspoken cultural context that gives those words all their meaning? That's the huge idea we're going to unpack today.
So how does this all work? Well, it turns out that our culture provides this kind of invisible architecture for how we connect with people. Think of it like a hidden operating system that's running in the background, shaping everything from how we build an argument to how we show someone we value them.
Now, the source material, specifically Volume 2, breaks this down for us into 5 core cultural codes. These are things that are especially common in what are called orally preference cultures. Societies that have historically passed down knowledge through speaking, not writing. And these codes, presented as chapters in the source, are the arts, which is all about how we express meaning. Then there's logic, or how we structure our thoughts. Grouping, which is how we figure out who's us. Time, how we perceive reality itself. And finally, respect, which is how we show value to others. These are the codes we're going to try and crack.
Okay, so these codes aren't just, abstract ideas for a textbook. They have really, really big real-world consequences. To really get what I'm talking about, let's just zoom in on one powerful example and see how differently two cultures can see the exact same thing.
This slide just nails the cultural code of time. So on one hand, you've got clock time, which runs so many Western cultures. It's all about efficiency, schedules, deadlines. But on the other hand, countless other societies run on event time. And here, time isn't this rigid thing, it's relational. It actually bends to the needs of people and what's happening. So what one culture sees as disrespectful lateness, another sees as showing deep respect for the person they were talking to before the meeting. It's a total mind shift.
All right, so understanding these codes is one thing, but what do we do about it? How do we actually bridge that gap? Well, the source material gives us this fantastic, super practical tool. It's a method designed specifically to use the universal power of stories to communicate across these exact cultural divides.
And they give us a really memorable way to think about this whole framework. Get ready for it. It's called Story Treats. And trust me, it's way more than just a clever name. It's an incredibly powerful tool for making stories genuinely transformative.
So here's the breakdown. TREATS is an acrostic, a simple way to remember a 6-step process. It stands for tell, retell, engage, apply, turn to action, and share. It's this simple but profound pathway for using stories to create a real, genuine connection. Let's walk through it.
All right, let's really dig into this step by step and see how it takes you from just hearing a story all the way to personal transformation. And while we do, you'll see how it's intentionally built to use those hidden cultural codes we just talked about.
Okay, so the first 3 steps are all about immersing the group in the story. First, you just tell the story. And the absolute key here is to fight that urge to explain it or give your commentary. Just let it land. Then, the group retells it. Now, this isn't a memory test. It's a way for everyone to collectively own the narrative. It taps right into that grouping code to build a shared understanding. And finally, you engage with the characters, shifting the whole conversation from what happened to why did it matter to them.
And this is so cool because this is where it connects right back to those hidden codes. The source material strongly suggests using the arts in that retell step. Remember that first cultural code we mentioned, the arts? This is it in action. Having a group draw something, or act out a scene, or even make up a song, it's not just a fun little activity. It connects to a really deep and often preferred way of processing and expressing meaning.
This quote really gets to the heart of why that engage step is so powerful. When we start talking about a character's choices and feelings, we're doing way more than just analyzing a plot. We're actually building empathy. We're trying on another perspective, which is, in itself, an act of respect. And we get to do it within the safety of a story.
So the last 3 steps are all about bringing the story home. After you've engaged with the narrative, you apply it. You ask that crucial question. Okay, what does this mean for me, right now? Then, and this is huge, you turn that reflection into real action with a specific, concrete commitment. And finally, you share it. This last step is about being accountable to the group, which reinforces that grouping code as you decide together how this story's wisdom is going to travel beyond just this one room.
So when you put it all together, you can see that a method like story treats is so much more than just a clever communication technique. It's really a bridge. It's a practical, hands-on way to honor these different cultural codes, like arts, grouping, and respect, to connect with people on a much more authentic level.
And this brings us to a really profound point from the source material. When we rush in to give the right answer, or the correct interpretation of a story, we actually rob people of their own personal discovery. We can even create a kind of dependence. The real goal isn't to provide all the answers, but to create a space where the story itself can do the heavy lifting.
And I guess that's the big takeaway, right? We need to move away from this old model of communication as just transmitting information and hoping it sticks. Real, true connection happens when we shift our focus to co-creating understanding with others, patiently, respectfully, and using tools that actually honor the way people make sense of their world. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Whether it's in your own family or at your job or in your community, what are the unspoken rules? What are those hidden codes of time, respect, and logic that are shaping your communication every single day? Thanks so much for joining us.